Pushing the office door open, I plunged into the early morning hustle outside. I decided on an impromptu solo hike, needing nature's comforting arms to cradle my turbulent thoughts. The trails of Mount Diablo, a sanctuary in the chaos that was my life in San Francisco, beckoned enticingly. So, donning my hiking boots, I set off on the familiar route, the sunrise infusing my spirit with a lingering warmth that offset the chill of dawn. The initial trail was steep and grueling, paralleling my struggle of balancing Olivia and my professional life. But with each weighted step, I felt a sense of familiarity, an echo of the burden my shoulders shouldered each time I had to choose between late nights at work or spending a quiet evening with Olivia. At work, the fight was for a critical bug or an imminent deadline. In love, the fight was against time, against schedules, against the ever-narrowing gap between us, carved out by our ambitious aspirations. Relentlessly, my boots crunched over twigs and rustling leaves, the rhythmic, repetitive nature of the walk resonating with the monotony that was threatening to seep into our relationship. The uphill climb petered out into a plateau, and I took a moment to catch my breath. Staring off into the expanse below, I pondered if love in adulthood was destined to be a battlefield, a fight to retain the connection amidst diverging dreams. Yet, amidst this self-doubt and uncertainty, the stillness of nature seeped into my spirit, steadily infusing peace into my frazzled nerves. Uneven rocks under my boots, the breeze whispering through the trees, the silent choreography of a rising sun. I sought solace in these familiar elements. They were a bridge to my past, a reminder of the days when my greatest worry was coping with homesickness, my biggest achievement, an A+ in principles of software development. And suddenly, the current reality didn't seem so daunting. Rather than looking at our differences as a stumbling block, I now saw them as an opportunity. Olivia's artistic spirit balanced out my binary world, her spontaneous quirkiness a foil to my structured methods. My coding projects fascinated her as much as her canvas intrigued me. Through our shared love for Mount Diablo's serenity, we could truly appreciate these differences, finding a beautiful symmetry in our inimitable spirits. Treading down the trail towards the bottom, I returned to the city, my heart lighter and mind clear. I understood that balance is not about finding a perfectly centered point, but about appreciating the tilts and shifts with grace and resilience. I realized that the solo trip was not solitary at all. The presence of every shared memory of Olivia and me hiking this trail together guided me, whispering assurances that our divergent paths, however winding they might be, would always lead us to a shared destination, on a mountain peak, beneath a sky aflame with sunset hues. At that moment, the sun finally broke from the horizon and enveloped everything in its golden glow. Briefly, time seemed to freeze, capturing this realization into a permanent etching on my heart. Driven by an overwhelming sensation of rediscovering balance, I found myself gravitating back to the confines of my old sanctuary, Mount Diablo, amidst the throes of my professional venture. A solace within the chaos of San Francisco. The idea of the solo hike struck me as an exciting adventure, allowing me to find solace in nature's comforting arms, enveloping my heart and head. Staring at the gnarled trail that I used to traverse with joy and anticipation sparked 1,000 memories. The narrow trail reminded me of the meticulous codes that I passionately wrote at Neural Nest, each twist and turn resembling the unpredictability of the startup world. Like each step in the steep path, every coding challenge was a push towards a larger goal, the culmination of our hard work and dedication. The upward climb, often bordering on grueling, echoed my own uphill battle at Neural Nest amidst looming deadlines and unmet goals. The rocky stretches synonymous with the bumps and potholes of our venture, jolting us out of our comfort zones. Letting out a chuckle, I recalled how each successful bug fix or project completion felt like reaching a temporary summit. A moment to catch breath, bask in transient glory before embarking on the next uphill task. Intermittent flat paths on my route were moments of respite, like when we landed our first client, a glimmer of celebration before moving on to the next challenge. Just like the unexpected steep patches on the trail, the journey was studded with unforeseen hurdles, trials that kept us on our toes, testing our grit and determination. However, amidst the seemingly endless walk, The serene moments where the chirping of the birds became louder than my own thoughts offered a comforting reconciliation. A leisurely rustling of the leaves to shine light even on the darkest of code syntax errors. As the trail wended back into the familiar cityscape, those now distant and quieter noises kept on echoing in my mind. The warmth of the sun, the soft rustle of the leaves, and the whispers of the wind followed me as I walked back to the grind of the startup world. In solitude, I found collective remembrances, each reminiscent of the team spirits at Neural Nest, inspiring me with newfound energy and determination. The trails echoed the words of Sarah, whiffs of the chilly wind carried the sound of laughter from our late-night coding sessions, the vacant trail mirrored our empty office at dawn. As I wiped the sweat off my forehead while descending, the lingering coolness was a palpable reminder of the soothing, familiar comfort our team provided after every daunting challenge, supporting each other constantly. The solo hike turned out to be a conscious journey through my trails and trials, mapping my endeavors at Neural Nest onto the paths that wound up the mountain. Albeit physically alone, I felt accompanied by conflicts and reconciliations, effort and ease, setbacks and achievements. As I retraced my steps back to face fresh challenges, I realized that just like the hills and dales, the crests and troughs, the cliffs and flatlands that constitute the vivid topography of a mountain, Neural Nest was an assorted medley of diverse tasks, people, and processes. Precisely what made it real, instructive, and oddly beautiful. Reflecting upon my earlier reminiscences of hiking, I couldn't help but marvel at the evolution of my own interpretation of these journeys. It was during a dull afternoon at my Seoul office when the idea of stepping outside for a quick breather turned into a spontaneous decision to explore Bukhansan National Park. Inviting Yunju to join me, a move propelled by a vague mix of companionship-seeking and romance, she reciprocated the enthusiasm for my plan. What was initially aimed as a casual outdoor escape gradually morphed into an introspective journey, reminiscing, anticipating, learning. Each step taken held a metaphorical meaning. Our ascending steps reflected our growing startup. Obstacles on our path symbolized the contingencies we faced in business. Much like the trail, steadying route by route, stone by stone, towards the top, our venture also was taking shape, one code, one client at a time. Both of us founders walking in unison, akin to our consistent teamwork back at our desks, focusing on our shared vision. As serene silence peacefully blanketed our surroundings, contrasted by our excited whispers, the city's hustle seemed to drift away. The rhythmic crunch of our footsteps and the rustling of the leaves in the wind struck a harmonious symphony, reflecting the combined rhythm of thoughts and actions back at our startup. Looking at Yunju appreciating the panoramic city view from the summit, a tinge of accomplishment shivered through me. A flashback of us, huddled over our first product, was superimposed over the serene vista. Our common struggles and triumphs culminated at that precise moment, both in that hiker's peak and in our venture. And when she smiled, reading out the message from one of our team members on securing our first local client, the thrill surged through me, just like the cool breeze around us. It wasn't just any other hike. It was a mirror reflecting our professional journey, giving us solace, guiding us through challenges, and filling us with newfound excitement for our upcoming tasks. Descending the summit held a bittersweet sadness, a sense of ending combined with a hopeful initiation. The metaphorical descent echoed the challenges entrenched in the further expansion of our startup. The sweat trickling down our faces mirrored our exhaustion and determination alike. Yet our shared laughs, occasional collisions, and the mutual sharing of a bottle of water along our way down mirrored our shared responsibilities, our unity, and the small joys in our professional journey. The winding trails of Bukhansan had a lot more to offer than just a retreat from city life. It was a macrocosm of Neural Nest's journey, reminding us of our camaraderie, tenacity, and resilience. The unspoken bond fortified among the tranquil surroundings is something I still reminisce with a proud ache. As every physical journey holds an introspective trail, each hike carried a parallel narrative about my journey of entrepreneurship. It was an unwinding thread of untold tales, tales of aspirations, relentless efforts, small victories, and bonding. Just when life seemed to revert to a mind-numbing narrative of work and troubles, a surprise encounter jolted me back into reality. I ran into Yunju at a local tech event, an occasion that amplified my heartbeat as our eyes met, rewinding to my previous exhilaration of facing an unknown hike. It reminded me of the direct correlation of my personal life with my hikes, the comfort of known paths, the thrill in unpredictability, and the surprise detours shaping the journey. Our eyes met, and without saying a word, we decided to reenact our hike in Bukhansan. Only this time, it was different. It represented a nostalgic attempt to reroute our relationships, considering our emotions and camaraderie that had forged during the initial hike. The experience, holding an even higher stake than before, was an echo of our startup, a testament of resilience and hope against various odds. As we strolled down the unwavering paths of Central Park, memories of our soul days flooded my mind, each footfall syncing with the rhythm of the past. The veil of city lights, the dappled shadows through the trees, and the fleeting smiles of passers-by all held an uncanny resemblance with our journey through neural nest's trying times. We shared long stretches of silence, reminiscent of the serene tranquility of our soul hike. It was in one of these silences that I found my thoughts straying towards the recent happenings at Neural Nest and how we were steering towards a significant milestone. Yunju, perhaps picking up on my wandering thoughts, broke the silence with a light banter about how our hike seemed to mirror the company's journey. The laughter in her tone felt like a balm on my agitated nerves. The average day in the life of a startup founder came with its fair share of stressors, be it facing funding challenges, fixing tech bugs, or meeting strict deadlines. Now as I walked alongside Yunju, the challenges felt minuscule, the worries distant. Our hike ended on an optimistic note, with both of us buoyed by the passion that had drawn us together in the first instance. The hike reaffirmed my belief in the collective strength of Neural Nest. But it also underscored how distractions could quickly devolve into a storm of worries. Amid the business chaos, I realized that seeking balance was not about attaining perfection. It was about understanding when to take a break, step back, and maybe take a hike. One evening, engrossed in my solitary routine, I stumbled upon an old picture. It was a photo from our hike in Seoul years ago, Yunju and I against the backdrop of the glittering cityscape, an emblem of our shared dreams. I found myself getting lost in the nostalgia, my mind tiptoeing around the poignant memories. Something about the picture captivated me, the joyous laughter, the vibrant spirit reflecting in our eyes. It was all a testament to our resilient spirits that knew no bounds. Navigating through the labyrinth of memories, I could feel the phantom caress of the sun against my skin, hear the rustle of leaves underfoot, smell the earthy scent of the trail. It felt as if the picture was pulling me back to the tranquility of Bukhansan. The rush of memories and nostalgia filled my present, pushing the noise of daily timelines, overflowing email inboxes, and daunting deadlines to the peripheries. Then, there were her eyes, sparkling with the same fiery determination that had driven us forward through the thick and thin of our startup journey. I remembered how those eyes could ignite a spark within me, fueling my determination during the challenging times. I could hear her laughter, a contagious sound that still echoed in the corners of my mind, painting a smile on my face even amidst the solitude. In that moment, surrounded by the phantom echoes of our past, I was able to distance myself from the present challenges. I found myself drawing energy from our shared past, silently promising to uphold the values we had once stood so staunchly by. The responsibility no longer felt like a burden. Instead, it turned into a source of motivation. The moments captured in the picture reminded me of the joy of shared dreams and the strength of camaraderie we had once enjoyed. Staring at the picture, my present tribulations seemed less intense for a moment. It was like being on top of a hike, looking down at the winding path we had just traversed and feeling a sense of accomplishment. The chaotic voices of worries and fears were replaced by the harmonious notes of treasured memories, and for the first time in weeks, peace overcame the turmoil within me. Each hiking memory was a stepping stone, fueling my spirits as I continued to tread the startup path. It was a tranquil reminder of our shared journey and the soul of Neural Nest that we had kindled together. The picture before me was a symbolic retrospective of our shared journey into the sprawling Seoul tech scene. As I fought the rising wave of nostalgia, I found myself instinctively reaching for my Jiu-Jitsu gi, tucked away in the cedarwood drawer of my desk. The stark black fabric was a visual contrast to the crisp white of the photo paper, symbolizing the duality of my existence. As I slipped into the gi, the familiar rough texture against my skin felt grounding, a potent reminder of the countless hours spent grappling away on the dojo mats. More than just a martial arts outfit, it was my armor in the face of adversities, my refuge from the fluctuating uncertainty of a startup's life. While my mind was engrossed in strategic code executions and financial planning during the day, my body sought solace in the consistency of martial arts routine each evening. The meteoric successes, the nerve-wracking pitches, the intimidating competition, they all melted away into oblivion once I stepped onto the mat. In moments of heightened anxiety, the mat had served as my sanctuary, becoming an arena where I would grapple not just with my adversaries, but with my own fears and insecurities too. Not many knew of this more human side to the enterprising tech CEO they saw in photographs and read about in magazines. Even fewer knew how I had thrown punches at my problems and submitted my worries with each roll on the mat. One hand on the photo, the other clutching the guy, I sighed. The picture, a representation of our shared perspiration and determination in Seoul, and my gi, a symbol of my personal perseverance and resilience. Together, they were the physical evidence of the intangible belief and sheer hard work that had laid the foundations for Neural Nest. Once a startup dream tucked away in the corners of a busy cafe in Seoul, now a thriving company nestled amidst the skyscrapers of New York. The very essence of our shared dream was mirrored in this personal journey of mine, from a tech enthusiast to a black belt entrepreneur. It wasn't just about learning how to strike the right business deals or how to execute the perfect armbar. It was the journey of insurmountable stress, endless hustle, and ordinary moments woven into an extraordinary story. Pulling the mats out for a late-night grappling session, I couldn't help but reflect on how the hiking trails and jitsu mats had been my constant companions, reliable threads leading back to the roots of my ambition. After all, was entrepreneurship not just another intense hike or a grueling jiu-jitsu round, throwing you off balance time and again, yet lighting the fire of determination brighter each time? And so the balance maintained, the startup exhilaration connecting me back to my roots, while the physical exertion led me forward. One day at a time, one step at a time, and one roll at a time, moisturizing the ever-sprouting seeds of possibilities. As I continued my late-night training session, thoughts and memories of my journey filled the room alongside the rhythmic thud of my fists against the punching bag. Throughout my entrepreneurial journey, Jiu-Jitsu had been my compass, guiding me through the unpredictable and chaotic storm that was Neural Nest. Just as I had tirelessly practiced and mastered the art of Jiu-Jitsu, I realized the same applied to entrepreneurship. Practice, resilience, and strategic problem-solving were key to success. How many nights had I spent poring over code, just as I painstakingly learned each new jiu-jitsu maneuver? Even during terse funding rounds or perplexing AI anomalies, I felt a strange calmness envelop me as I worked my way through each challenge. I was often reminded of my days in the dojo, patiently figuring out how to escape each enemy's hold or striving to master a new technique. When faced with setbacks, be it a pivotal investor setback or a coding roadblock, the principles of jiu-jitsu often resurfaced, guiding me through each oppressive wave. This continuous loop of seeking the balance between the discipline of martial arts and the thrill of entrepreneurship had, over time, provided me with a unique perspective of resilience, one that truly set me apart. My relationship with Jiu-Jitsu was just as much about self-discovery as it was about martial arts. As I reached new entrepreneurial heights and delved deeper into the realms of technology, Jiu-Jitsu was there, reminding me of my strengths and pushing me to look past my fears. For every startup milestone, there was a new belt, a step up the ladder in my journey of personal growth. Today, I stand tall as an entrepreneur, proud of our accomplishments at Neural Nest. Yet, in the stillness of the night, with my mind quiet and the lights of the city painting a masterpiece through my office window, I am aware that the journey continues. As it does, I am thankful for all that Jiu-Jitsu has brought into my life, its lessons echoing like a gong strike, present and ceaselessly reverberating even in the silence.